In August of 2014, a small but ambitious game made its way onto the Steam store page. Independent and almost unheard of game creator Scott Cawthon couldn't have imagined the splash that this game would make. With sequels and prequels aplenty, fan games, fan art, a book series, a movie that may or may not be made at this time, Five Nights at Freddy's made a big impression on the gaming community, myself especially included. A bare-bones game that stripped back mechanics most of us were quite accustomed to seeing at the time of these releases. The whole premise of the game? Sit in a chair and wait until 6 AM. The catch? Bloodthirsty animatronics know where you are and they're mad about it. Five Nights at Freddy's capitalised on the screamer genre of games, with no real scares other than a giant rabbit screaming in your face before the screen fades to black. Players had to manage their limited power supply by quickly flicking through security cameras to keep track of where the animatronics were, and if they got too close, closing the security doors, which also took power. The game mechanics weren't groundbreaking by any means, but the story that it drip-fed us engaged its audience and we needed to know more. I remember feeling like a star detective whenever Cawthon would post another teaser image on his website, and I'd feel so smart by just turning up the brightness just that little bit to find the secret message that he left for us. With each new game, the old mechanics were recycled, adding new character designs and still breadcrumbing us to the inevitable answers of who was killing these kids, what happened to the Bite of 87, and most importantly, who was Purple Guy? Though most of these questions have been answered with each installment of the game, and the subsequent book series, there's always room for more lore and more frights with Five Nights at Freddy's. This is Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach. You play as Gregory, a little boy who climbed inside Freddy's chest cavity in order to get backstage and hide from the security guard. His goal? Survive to 6 AM, of course. Gregory must use his wits and speed in order to complete tasks, dodge animatronics, and collect all the collectibles in this game. Seriously, there's a prize box around almost every corner. The old game mechanics that fans have come to expect from the series are retired for a more modern, more open world approach, with the ability to access almost any area in the game with the right security pass, or with your helpful buddy Freddy. The overall tone of the game has also undergone a massive rehaul. It's fun, it's bright, it feels believable and nostalgic of a time where arcades were all the rage. A lot of the desperation and existential horror is almost completely left out of the game, except for the final end sequence where, in classic FNAF style, not so explicitly tells the player that there is more going on here. The art team behind this installment genuinely outdid themselves. The animatronic designs feel so fresh and new, but they still feel very on brand for Fazbear Entertainment. The additions of Roxy Wolf and Monty Gator don't feel out of place, and are a welcome addition to the regular lineup of animatronics. Onto a couple of gripes that are holding me back from giving this game a glowing review. This game always feels like it's in beta, with buggy doors, Freddy's AI being a little off at times, and the lag during certain areas being more than noticeable. It's a sentiment many people in the community have echoed, but one that speedrunners are definitely taking advantage of. There are some softlock bugs, other game-breaking ones, occasionally the animatronics just forget where you are. Most of the bigger game-breaking bugs seem to be limited to the console release, so if you're a console player, expect to get a little frustrated at the game. The development team seem to be committed to making sure players have a fun experience though. The game was released on the 17th of December and already has had one bug patch released on the 23rd of this month in order to fix some of the more egregious errors. The quest objectives and directions also feel a little unfinished. There are times when tasks are over-explained and other tasks are left frustratingly vague. Certain areas and boss sequences need quick mechanics by the player, but that's difficult to do during a first run when you're not sure what you're meant to be doing. And with no addition of an autosave, if the last time you saved was 3 hours ago, well, you're going to be very practiced at that one area. The developers also made a very interesting choice to not allow the player to save at all once it had reached 6 AM, despite it being a you're caught, you're out scenario. This does add a lot of overall tension to the endgame sequence, but since it's possible to just skip so many sections due to the map being so big, getting a better or different ending becomes almost a chore. Now, the scares, the horror, what FNAF is known for. I don't think this is the scariest game in the series by far, but it does have its moments, especially when the security bots randomly change their pathing and run into you. Overall, I would recommend this game to people. Older fans will hopefully appreciate the open setting, the attention to detail, and the care and love gone into recreating characters we know so well. Newcomers to the series will have an established world to run wild in, with fun collectibles around the map, interesting gameplay, and a crew of new characters to interact with. This game has a potential to be the best in the series. With a couple more bug patches, I feel like this game will skyrocket to be everyone's fan favourite from the series. All in all, I give this game 3 out of 5 Fazbears. Thank you so much for listening to my review, and it's time to unpause.